Hey guys, welcome to the NZ Travel Show. Today this is a special edition breaking news all about the latest border announcement. First up, who are we? My name is Robin and this is Laura. We are the team behind New Zealand's largest travel guide, NZPocketGuide.com. So we kind of are your New Zealand travel expert, and today the entirety of this 1 hour live session is going to be to take all your questions about the latest border announcement by the New Zealand government. But before we begin, let's quickly recap with Laura.
Alright, so I'm just going to quickly go over the recap of the announcement that was made yesterday by the New Zealand government, and they announced that there's going to be a 5-step plan for the borders reopening to New Zealand. So I'll quickly go through those steps right now, starting with step 1, which will happen on the 27th of February. And this is when self-isolation will open for New Zealanders and eligible travellers coming from Australia. Australia. And then in the second step, which will happen on the 13th of March, we have the borders will be open to New Zealanders and eligible travellers from the rest of the world. It will also be opened to skilled workers earning at least 1.5 times the median wage in New Zealand, and open to people on working holiday visas. So that was step 2. Then on step 3, which will happen on the 12th of April, this will be when the borders will be open to offshore temporary visa holders who still meet the visa requirements, also 5,000 international students, and consideration of further class exemptions for critical workforces that don't meet the 1.5 times the median wage test. And then step 4 will be by the latest in July. For anyone from Australia, the borders will be open too, and the borders will also be open to all visa waiver travel countries, which we can go through a list of what those visa waiver countries are later in the video.
It's going to be our first question. But
yes, I'm sure it will be. And then also the borders will be open to a new accredited employer work visa, and skilled worker exemption will be phased out. And then the final step, step 5, will be in October, which will be the border reopening to the rest of the world, and all visa categories will fully reopen. So that was the 5 steps. And just to go through a little bit more information, any unvaccinated travellers will still have to go into MIQ, which is the managed quarantine facility. And then the self-isolation period for returning travellers would match that of close contacts under the government's phased-out approach for Omicron. So currently that's 10 days under phase 1, and then when it gets to phase 2 and 3, that will reduce to 7 days. And then all arrivals will be given 3 rapid antigen tests, returning results on day 0 or 1. And then again on days 5 or 6, and then they'll have 1 extra test as a backup. And any positive results will be then reconfirmed with a PCR test.
All right, so here's how this live session is going to be working. We have some piece of information planned to give you guys, but we will go back and forth between your question and some extra information, and we will keep on doing that for the whole hour. Let's begin by saying a big hi to our Patreon supporters, which are absolutely awesome. I can see some of them in the chat right now. We have Tamo, we have Anthony, we have Stanislav, and we have Fabio. Stanislav, tell me if you ever got my message, either by email or on the Patreon whatever platform.
Website.
Yeah, the Patreon website. I'm always trying to figure out if you do get my message. Okay, so let's go over the comments that we have. Tamo says, evening here. So Tamo is in Estonia, so yeah, that's why it's the evening for him. Ian, the bus driver, has a question. What is Ian, the bus driver, asking?
So Ian says, I've been researching visa waiver countries. I'm from California, and I was wondering if the NZDT is also a visa that I may have to get in order to travel in 2023.
All right, so Ian, since you're from California, that's the USA, your country is on the list of the visa waiver country. The NZDT is not considered like as a visa for the purpose of this kind of 5-step plan. So if your country is on the visa waiver list, then at that point you will be able to travel on step 4, starting step 4, which is July 2022. So for all of you guys which are thinking, am I on a visa waiver list or not, we're going to go over right now the list of the countries which are officially in the visa waiver country scheme for New Zealand. If you want more information about the visa waiver country scheme, first up you can go to immigration.govt.nz, and on there is a list of those countries, and we just put it literally from that website, and Laura is about to read it. So brace yourself, there's about like 60 or 70 countries.
There's a lot there. So
all right, hold on to your horses, guys. Here's all the list in the visa waiver country. Here's all the countries in the visa country waiver list.
Andorra, Argentina, Austria, Bahrain, Belgium, Brazil, Brunei, Bulgaria, Canada, Chile, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Kuwait, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Macau, Malaysia, Malta, Mauritius, Mexico, Monaco, the Netherlands, Norway, Oman, Poland, Qatar, Romania, San Marino, Saudi Arabia, Seychelles, Singapore, Slovak Republic, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, United States of America, Uruguay, and Vatican City.
So when we did mention visa waiver country, those are all the countries that this apply to. So here you go. Did you hear your country? Let us know. All right, keep on going with the questions or comments. We have Big Dealer in the house that says, hi guys, how are you doing all the way in South America? We have Anthony Comstock that says Morena from Rodeo, California, even though I'm in Martinez right now at John Muir's house. Hi John, how are you doing? Also, is it not rude for you guests to ignore you completely? We have Stanislav that says great news. Thank you very much for the emergency live stream. We have Nathan Bays that says Kia ora and Morena, everyone. Morena means good morning in Maori, the local indigenous language. I'm just going a little bit fast through the comments because we are having much more people in the live chat than usual. Khadija, what is Khadija saying?
When allowed for a partnership visa, I'm from Bangladesh, but my husband is a New Zealand citizen.
So if you want to apply for a visa, Khadija, I think that you will be part of the step 5 when Immigration New Zealand gets back into working at full speed, and that will begin in October, and it will include all other visitors and students who require a visa to enter New Zealand, with normal visa processing resuming. So you may want to confirm with Immigration New Zealand at immigration.govt.nz, but our gut feeling is that you will be a stage 5. Stanislav says, great news and thanks for the emergency stream. I already read that. Ayesha says, I have a letter of offer for a PhD. When can I apply for a visa?
The visa opening process starts for the rest of the world in stage 5, or we think that's when it would most likely apply to your question. But of course, you can always confirm on the immigration website for New Zealand, immigration.govt.nz.
Extreme Talauta says Morena, which means good morning in Maori, which is the local indigenous language here in New Zealand. Learn this one if you are planning a trip to New Zealand. What is Pippa saying?
Pippa says...
we don't know what Pippa is saying. This is so buggy.
We have a very buggy live stream, people. Just bear with us. So Pippa says, I am wanting to get a working holiday visa and I'm from the UK. Which date/step would I be? So that would be step 2, 13th of March.
Oh yeah, that's true. Step 2. Boom. Awesome. Step 2.
Yeah, so from the 13th of March, you can start. I think you can start applying for your working holiday visa and start coming to New Zealand.
Yeah, so application will open anytime now. They obviously have to kind of restart everything. So literally, we're just waiting to see when are the applications opening. But yes, you are part of step 2, so that will be for the 13th of March, which is really exciting. Obviously, you want to confirm all of that with immigration.govt.nz. Telmo, what is Telmo saying? Oh my god, the bug is real in this one.
Telmo says, hi Lauren Robin, Kia ora, how are you doing? I will only watch you at the television because I am writing. Bye.
So basically we are background noise for Telmo. Okay. So hi Telmo. Nehali says, Indian PR citizen with Indian passport and NZ. When can they visit India? Please reply. Don't worry, we always reply to all the comments. So if you are a New Zealand citizen and you do have a New Zealand passport, you'll be able to re-enter New Zealand pretty much any time after the 13th of March. So you could go on a holiday and then re-enter after the 13th of March. Now, one thing that we would like to highlight altogether is about self-isolation, right? So self-isolation is still applying to all 5 of those steps. That means that you will still have to self-isolate when arriving to New Zealand in any of the steps that we have described. So let's talk a little bit about self-isolation so it's really clear to everyone. Each of the steps that we have mentioned from 1 through 5 right now will be subject to self-isolation.
Yeah, so for self-isolation, as I already said, that's a period that would be also the same as the government's current self-isolation for people in New Zealand nationally as well, due to the Omicron phases that New Zealand is currently going through at the moment.
So in New Zealand right now, if you are diagnosed with COVID-19, you are required to self-isolate and you will be under this exact same rules. Those rules are...
for 10 days self-isolation, and that could be reduced to, in phase 2 or phase 3, that could be reduced to 7 days. So 7 days is what it would be likely reduced to, and then obviously you would have to wait for further announcements for anything less than that. I think another thing to mention also for each of these phases as well is that you do have to meet certain health requirements in order to go into self-isolation as well. If you don't meet the health requirements, you therefore would have to go into a managed isolation and quarantine facility. But if you meet the following health requirements, I can let you know what those are right now, taken from covid.govt.nz, which is the official government website for the COVID-19 pandemic. And it is as follows. So, while you do not have to enter MIQ at each step, you must meet some health requirements, which include: you must provide a negative pre-departure test, you must meet vaccination requirements, you will self-isolate for a period of time after your arrival, and you must do 2 rapid antigen tests, otherwise known as RATs, during your self-isolation period on day 0 or 1, and again on day 5 or 6, and declare your results.
All right. So, let's keep going with some of the comments that we are having right here. So, we have Stanislav that says, yes, he saw my message and he did subscribe. Cool. I have not seen you joining the Facebook group just yet, but join the Patreon exclusive live session after this one. So, it's literally in an hour. Join in and together we'll sort it out and we'll put you in there. There is a lot of content for you on that Patreon page. And if you guys are thinking about supporting us on Patreon, you may want to join a bunch of really awesome people. Oops, no, that's the wrong one. That's just Laura right here. It's supposed to be this one. Here you go. If you want to join a bunch of awesome people on Patreon, you can click on the link below and help support the making of this channel and also live session and all this. You get a lot of extra perks for yourself, access to a special secret Facebook group in which there is like over 100 posts right now. We're literally posting and chatting with you guys every single day. You get an extra live session. There's plenty of awesome things to do. So yeah, I won't bore you too much, but if you want to consider joining us on Patreon, that'd be awesome. Okay, we have Fabio that says, I have a lot of buffering on my side, maybe a problem due to the construction on your site. Yeah, if you guys experience a lot of buffering, let us know. I just reduced the quality a little bit more to have a bit more of a smooth session, but let me know. B Plus said, hey guys, we haven't seen you in a while. How are you guys doing? They say, Morena, long time no see. I've missed your Sunday sessions. Well, hopefully you can make it this Sunday. That'd be awesome. Yeah, it's been a while. We were chatting on Facebook and then you disappeared. But I'm glad that you guys are back. Jules made it. So Jules is it's 3 a.m. for Jules right now. Just finished chatting with their partner in Thames, and very very tired. So it's trials. Thames here in New Zealand, so their partner is in Thames.
Okay, right.
And they're overseas. I don't know where they are, But yeah, what did we have for breakfast, Laura? We had homemade croissants.
Yeah, we had quite a fancy breakfast. We had croissants. I've come up with a new croissant recipe, which is really awesome. If only this was a baking channel, I'd be able to show you guys. Reman says, hello, how about those who need to apply for a student visa? When would we be able to apply? Is that under category number 5 of Borders Reopening Plan?
Yeah, so it looks like it's under category number 5 for the reopening plan. On step 3, they say they will include a large student cohort of up to 5,000 students, but we don't know if those ones are the people that already applied and already have a visa and now can get in, or if it's new application. So it's likely to be step number 5, but you may want to confirm with Immigration New Zealand, and you can contact them at immigration.govt.nz just to be sure. Yes. What is Blaze saying?
Blaze says, Kia ora from Pakistan.
Nice.
Kia ora, Blaze.
By the way, guys, if you all want to take a second to hit the like button, that would be a great free way to reward all our hard work, and we'd very much appreciate that.
Khadiza says, thank you so much.
You're welcome,
very
Khadiza.
Welcome. Reman says, I couldn't understand what are these countries that you mentioned just now.
So the list of countries that Laura was reading was the list of countries which are the part of the visa waiver scheme. There is a word and a half, this one.
I hate saying visa waiver, like visa waiver countries. It's like if you say it enough times, it's like a tongue twister. It's hard.
The unwavering waves of visa waivers.
I know.
Okay, guys, so the list of countries that Laura was reading was the countries on the visa waiver list, meaning that countries that basically if you want to just come to New Zealand to visit as a tourist, you don't need an extra visa. You don't need to apply for a visa. And those are the countries which are included in the step number 4. And that's why we were reading them, because a lot of people were asking, is my country on the visa waiver list? I'm wavering about this. Yeah. I'm wondering and wavering. All right. So
you just to also confirm, like you can double check that list of the visa waiver countries on immigration.govt.nz. We also have an article on nzpocketguide.com. If you type in visitor visa or tourist visa in the search, you will find we have a complete guide on what visa you would normally need to come to New Zealand just to visit, and whether you would need to apply for a visa or not. And we have the complete list of the visa waiver countries there as well. So there's another place that you can easily see that list for yourselves. Of course, we do have links to both of what I mentioned in the description below, so take a look at those websites if you want to obviously see a written form of this list, because I know it is rather extensive. Otherwise, you could always rewind to me actually saying all those countries and
butchering
half of the pronunciations.
All right, so we have Shanika that says, I was granted a student visa on March 2020. Can I reapply in April? You may want to confirm with Immigration New Zealand, but I think you're more going to be step 5, which is October. I may be wrong, and this is why I want you to reconfirm with Immigration New Zealand, just because that's the one thing that we were not 100% clear. What visa status will those 5,000 students be able to
and
get?
It also, in their announcement, the government's announcement, they said that it's for students returning on semester 2.
Yeah.
So if you are a new student, then perhaps this wouldn't apply to you. But if that's a little piece of extra information to keep in mind, it's for semester 2.
Okay, Violet Zulu, all the way from South Africa, says, hi guys.
Hello.
We also have, it's really you guys are chatting to us a lot, so that makes everything bug, which is great. We're really happy to interact with you guys. Oscar.
If I applied for a working holiday visa in 2020 but wasn't processed yet, do you know something about? Maybe more info related will come up in step 2.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be with step 2 right here. So what I would suggest is to contact Immigration New Zealand right now and see what's your path to apply for your working holiday visa. If you haven't been processed, you still have a chance to maybe be able to get it confirmed with Immigration New Zealand. But yes, you are making the right assumption, Oscar. Good on you. Christian Martinez Vega, what is he saying?
Says, sorry guys, could you please repeat the timeline for each of the steps/phases? The video is stopping a lot. I'm interested in mostly step 5.
All right, so step 1 will be on Sunday, the 27th of February, and that will be for Kiwis and other currently eligible travelers from Australia. And they will be able to travel to New Zealand, and instead of going to MIQ, they'll be able to self-isolate. Step 2 will be on Sunday the 13th of March, and that will be an expanded border exemption for critical workers and skilled workers earning at least 1.5 times the median wage. The current median wage in New Zealand is $27 an hour, so you need to earn 1.5 times that at the minimum. There will also be the workers' family as well that will be able to get in, and there's also going to be an opening of the working holiday visa on step 2. Is that correct? It's not on my paper, but is it on yours?
On step 2,
working holiday visa, yes. Okay, step 3 will begin on Tuesday the 12th of April, and that's going to be the big border extension that will include a large international cohort of up to 5,000 students for entry ahead of semester 2, and also temporary visa holder will still meet their visa requirements. So that kind of tells that you already need to have that visa to be able to get in. On step 4, it's going to begin in no later than July 2022, so perhaps earlier than July 2022. And that will be Australians and all other visitors and business travelers that can normally enter New Zealand without a visa. And again, the NZDT doesn't count as a visa. And this is when we're talking about the visa waiver list. And that's the list that Laura read a little earlier in the video. And finally, the step 5 will begin in October 2022, and it will include all other visitors and students who usually require visa and enter New Zealand, and that will mean that Immigration New Zealand will begin back the normal processing of all visas. So here's the complete timeline and a quick recap for everybody. Moving on to the next question.
Yes, so we have Adam saying, let me just make sure I didn't skip.
That's okay, just go with Adam.
Yeah, Adam said, do you think since this announcement happened, the emergency MIQ spots would drop?
So I actually think that a lot of people will literally just decide to postpone their trip a little bit and avoid the MIQ, because first, it's very costly, and second, it is just 2 weeks while you can do 10 days at home for step 1, and then after 7 days at home for step 2. So why would you bother staying in a government enforced MIQ? So yeah, I actually do agree with you, mate. I actually think that it's gonna stop. Drop.
Yeah. So we didn't miss anything, so I'll move on to Kishani, saying, hello, my mother country is Sri Lanka, but currently I'm working in NZ based on my work visa. I'm not a citizen or resident in NZ. I need to go to my mother country. So which category do I fall?
Well, if you do have to apply for a visa, it really does look like you're going to be step number 5 right here, where you are gonna have to go through the immigration process and therefore apply for your visa, because you don't have a visa just yet. And so that will be step 5, which begins in October 2022. You may want to confirm this with Immigration New Zealand, and in order to contact them, you can head to immigration.govt.nz. What is Jules having to say?
Jules says, my partner is Kiwi. I'm Aussie, currently in Western Australia. I lived in New Zealand for 5 years. Would I be classed as a permanent resident and able to come back early March in stage 1? So you're only classed as a permanent resident if you literally have done the process and the paperwork, and you have in your passport that, that visa in your passport that says permanent resident for New Zealand. You're not automatically granted a permanent residency if you just happen to be partners with a New Zealand citizen. But I think what would apply to you if you are an Australian citizen, then by July, which is stage 4, and it's by July at the latest, anyone from Australia can come to New Zealand and do the self-isolation there. So as an Australian resident, you would be able to come to New Zealand. But yeah, if you were actually, you had in your passport that you are a permanent resident of New Zealand, you would be able to come earlier, and you would be able to come from February. But it doesn't sound like that would apply to you. But always check with immigration.govt.nz for to see which one definitely applies with you. Reconfirm that with Immigration New Zealand.
All right, so we're going to take a bunch of extra questions, and then we're going to do a deep dive in each of those steps, so we give you even more information. So Ruran is saying, thanks for the great content. You're very welcome, Ruran. Says, do you know if any skilled worker can come through on step 2 as long as they are above the 1.5 medium wage? Is it limited to the current other critical work criterias? Okay, step 2. Let me have a quick look for you, mate. New Zealand citizen and resident, other eligible travelers current the border setting. Skilled workers earning at least 1.5 times the median wage. So yeah, so the median wage is $27, so 1.5 times would be $40.50 an hour if I'm doing the math quickly and well. So yeah, I don't think you are another critical worker. You're just
you're
a
not
normal
classed
skilled worker.
as a critical worker.
You're a skilled
Yeah.
worker that earn 1.5 times the median wage, so you could, get that process started. But yeah, again, confirm with Immigration New Zealand. But for me right now, you may be, yes, correct on step 2.
Yeah.
What is Mariana saying?
Mariana says, so Kiwis can travel abroad for holidays and go back to New Zealand in stage 3. I'm just double checking stage 3 right now. Well, it's for anyone coming from New Zealand. I think that might even be stage 2.
You still have to keep still have to keep in mind that you will still have to do the 7-day home isolation,
Yes.
right? So there's not nothing happening to you. You still have to do the home isolation as well, right? Just keeping that in mind.
Yeah. So
sorry guys for being on the phone, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
just responding to some urgent things happening.
Yeah. So Mariana, I would actually say it would be stage 2 for you to go abroad and be able to come back, because stage 2 states for the 13th of March, it's the borders will be open to New Zealanders and eligible travellers from the rest of the world, coming from the rest of the world. So yes, but yeah, as Robin says, bear in mind that when you do come back to New Zealand, you'll still have to do that self-isolation process.
Indeed. David is saying Canadians here wondering if the working holiday visas, when they open up in the 13th of March, is that just for people in quarantine-free travel zone, i.e. Australia, or is it open to other countries? It is open to all countries. So you will, as a Canadian, be able to come to New Zealand on a working holiday visa starting from the 13th of March 2022, which is great news.
Good times.
So yeah, so if you want to get started on planning your trip to New Zealand, you can head to nzpocketguide.com. If you're on a working holiday visa, you may want to click on the tab that states work in New Zealand, and on there is really a lot of tips for you, both for applying for the visa but also for jobs and everything. And if you are just planning to holiday in New Zealand, we get plenty about plan your trip. We get trip IDs, i.e. full itineraries done for you, and also all our recommendations of place to stay, to eat at, and also to visit in the country, all on nzpocketguide.com. Here's some shameless promotion. Go nuts. But yes, David, so working holiday visa, it's stage 2, no matter which country you are from. Pippa
says, with self-isolation, can you do that at a hotel or Airbnb of your choice? Only issue would be getting transport from the airport to your accommodation.
So there has been very little guidance about that just yet. Even some journalists were asking the Prime Minister about people arriving to New Zealand and then going into public transport to get to their accommodation and things like that. And basically her response was like, we're planning for that, and also most people are going to have their own car. And that's basically what she kind of said.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is a complete firm plan on that. But yes, you can do your self-isolation at a hotel. I don't think it would be wise to do in an Airbnb just because there is a lot of extra people moving around. So I don't think that'd be allowed. But yeah, at the hotel probably. So again, there is going to be more guidance coming about that, within the next few weeks, as those steps are getting closer, then we're going to get more guidance. Like so far, we've been getting like guidance on each of the steps or stages that they announce. Every time that happens, we get the guidance literally like a week's ahead of time. So that is that short. So maybe don't plan for a trip exactly on the 13th. Give yourself a couple of weeks so you can actually plan around it and see what's on offer.
Yeah. And whenever new processes are announced, for instance, for self-isolation, we will be doing a travel news segment during our Sunday live session, which we do every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. And we usually update you guys with the latest news, especially concerning border announcements and self-isolation and all that sort of good stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell so you get notifications for our latest videos.
All right, we have somebody with a lovely Arabic name, which I sadly cannot pronounce. And he or she says, if I am an international student and I do not have a visa, am I considered amongst the 5th stage that will enter in New Zealand? Yes, that is a correct assumption. If you do not have a visa just yet, it is our understanding that you will be on stage 5, as you will need to basically reapply for your visa and all that. You may want to confirm with Immigration New Zealand at immigration.govt.nz, but that is kind of our current understanding. Somebody's excited about croissants.
Yes, Jules says, croissant, yum. It was very yum.
Ayesha.
Says border opening means we can start entering the country from that day, so visa processing should be months before each step. I am confused.
Not really. Like, okay, so there is like what it should be and what it actually will be, right? So, yes, you should be able to enter New Zealand around, let's say you're on a working holiday visa around the 13th of March. But Immigration New Zealand needs to get started again in kind of getting back to speed, right? So they may just have all the process and reopen all the stages maybe a week or two before that. So the time they process it, it may take some time. So that's literally what I was talking about just before. Don't see those things at exact set date as like, I am going to arrive on time on the 13th. Just take a deep breath, realize that this is kind of a time frame that you have, and then prior to that time frame or on that time frame, you'll be able to start applying, and then the process is going to take the time that it takes, just because you can never speed up Immigration New Zealand.
They are notorious for processing visas very slowly.
Yeah. So don't be too confused. It is normal. Things are gonna get started slowly, so you won't be able to come in. You are not guaranteed to be able to legally come to New Zealand exactly on that day, just because the paperwork takes a little bit of time. But as things start again, we are seeing, for example, when they say in October, we actually do think that Immigration New Zealand will start processing visa much earlier than October in order to get some people starting to come. We're not saying that nobody is going to be able to come in October. What we're just saying is that just have realistic expectations, and so like that you don't let yourself down. And it's always better to be realistic when having expectations.
Immigration New Zealand might not necessarily open up their application months and months before because they thinking people will come during that time. The Prime Minister during the Q&A session had sort of said to journalist questions that like the processing of visas is going to help people stagger, like come through the borders slowly.
Yes, actually, it's part of the strategy, right? They know that processing visa takes so much time that rather than on a firm date, let's say and I'm making that up, but let's say on the 3rd of October is the firm date when it opens, rather than on the 3rd of October having 750,000 people coming in. They know that because of the processing visa is taking so long, it's going to be just a slow trickle, and therefore we can cope with the amount of people coming rather than having everybody coming as a tsunami wave.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like their approach, and it's part of their strategy. So don't think that this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, so I think sort of our recommendation for anyone who wants to get into New Zealand as soon as possible and get their visa application in as soon as possible is to make sure that you are going onto your the visa page on the immigration website, the Immigration New Zealand website. Go into the visa page that you are applying for. Keep updating that page like every single day, having a look at, because at the top it will say when the application's open. It's just going to be one of those things where you just have to keep on assessing that yourself and seeing when that application will open.
Always refer to immigration.govt.nz. All right, we're going to keep on going through some questions. There's really a lot coming in. By the way, there's 40 of you guys currently watching live, and we only have 22 like. If the 18 that haven't liked right now would like to click the like button, that would be a great free way to reward all our hard work, and we'd really, really appreciate you guys. Okay.
Nihali says, thank you so much. You're very welcome, Nihali. Nina says, hello, guys.
Okay.
Hello.
And then we have Julia.
Julia says, German here. Can I apply for the working holiday visa already, or do I have to wait for the 13th of March to apply for that visa?
So Julia, that's exactly what we were talking about right now. We don't know when the applications are going to be open, but seriously, as Laura said, refresh the page regularly and see when that's opening. We do understand that the working holiday makers are very much needed in New Zealand. We do have a major labor and worker shortage in the country right now, and all those retail job, a horticultural job, hospitality job that usually working holiday makers are taking are really bleeding. They really do need the workforce. So I do think that they're going to make some extra effort to process those really quickly, but we don't know when exactly they're going to get started. But I do believe that literally by the end of March, you should be able to have your visa and come to the country for sure. So keep on refreshing this page and apply as soon as you can. So like that, we can welcome you in New Zealand. And yeah, if you want plenty of tips to plan your trip, check out nzpocketguide.com. We put our heart and soul into the website to make it the Bible for planning a trip to New Zealand, especially a gap year. I'm pretty sure you will enjoy the website. All right, we have Baby Burns.
Says, I'm shocked. I thought it's Sunday already, guys.
Though we will be here again on Sunday, so if you guys are new right here, there's a lot of new people watching this. We usually do this live session live every single Sunday at this time, so 8 a.m. New Zealand time for an hour. But because of this latest announcement and how big that news is, we decided to do one extra live session today. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, you may want to subscribe so you can join us and ask us questions regularly, every week in fact. What is Kishore saying?
Kishore says, hi, I've applied for my post-study visa 2 years ago. Which step do I fall in?
Kishore, if you haven't been given your visa just yet, that means that you don't have a visa just yet, and it's our understanding that you will be on step 5. However, you may want to confirm with Immigration New Zealand at immigration.govt.nz. What is Sharon having to say?
Sharon Alex says, hi, I'm from India and I'm waiting for the response. I have completed an EOI process. Any idea how much more time it takes for the reply after the EOI gets over?
So once you submit your expression of interest, that's what the EOI is for those that may wonder. It can take a lot of time, right? Especially during those COVID times. So there is really no set time frame, and genuinely we have heard of some people that it took years, right? So the process is going to be changing and everything. What you can do is to just kind of ping it up and basically just recontact your case officer to see where you're at, and if you do need to lodge a new application or not. Always contact Immigration New Zealand to follow up with your application. What is Rock Jabble saying?
Rock Jackable says, hello and thanks for the good content. My question is that those international students who currently do not hold a visa, which will fall in which category? Sorry, I kind of butchered that
Okay,
question.
in short,
Yeah.
you're asking, are you falling in the last category? That's what you're
Yeah.
asking. Yes, it's our understanding that since you don't have a visa, you may be falling in the last category. However, you may want to contact Immigration New Zealand. You may be able to get one of those 5,000 spots if they're not all full or something like that. So contact Immigration New Zealand. But our understanding is that, yes, last category, step number 5 in October.
Amjad says...
I don't know what Amjad is saying. Amjad is saying what?
Kia ora, Laura and Robin, could you please give a clarification about the 5,000 international students in step 4? I am an international student and require a visa. What is my situation, though?
All right, so let me read step 4 for you if you want. So, it's step 3 actually.
Yeah.
So it's step 3 actually, the 5,000 students. So I'm going to go over that. So the step 3 from 11:59 p.m. on the 12th of April 2022. The following fully vaccinated people can enter New Zealand from anywhere in the world and self-isolate upon arrival. So the current offshore temporary visa holder with a valid visa who can still meet their visa requirements, and up to 5,000 international students for semester 2. So that's with understanding that semester 1 has been done somewhere. So yes, that's all we know right now. What we think is that the priority is going to be for students that already had their visas and they could not make it to New Zealand. If you haven't applied for a visa just yet, you may be in step number 5. However, you may want to contact Immigration New Zealand because last time they did release some spots for international students, not all the spots were full. So at that point, they may want to fill those spots in order to help this major part of the economy in New Zealand, which is international students, to cope with with the fallout of COVID-19, and so they may want to get extra students. So contact Immigration New Zealand. You may be on step 3, but currently right now, from our understanding, you're on step 5. But we may be wrong. That's why we require you to contact Immigration New Zealand to confirm. Jules.
Thanks for the info, guys. Much appreciated. I'll contact Immigration NZ to check. Thanks for all your hard work.
You're very welcome, Jules. Thank you very much. Guys, make sure to hit the like button. That'd be lovely. Amjad is saying, what will happen for the student visa application process and when? Again, Immigration New Zealand will get back to full speed only in October, so it's going to be a slow trickle until then. Ian the bus driver says, is phase 4 including self-isolation? Yes, so far, every single step that we talked about includes self-isolation. At some point, self-isolation will be phased out. It is our understanding that especially in July, so that's going to be for step 4, the New Zealand government is going to try to reduce or even get rid of self-isolation, because otherwise we don't see that many tourists wanting to come to New Zealand if it's to be locked in a hotel room for 7 days. It's a bit of a dreadful start of a trip.
Yeah.
So the New Zealand government is going to try to reduce and get rid of that self-isolation. However, this has not been announced during this announcement right now. What has been announced is that self-isolation of 7 days will still apply even in July. We'll see. We hope that it's going to be solved before July, but we don't know just yet.
Nathan says, I cannot wait for tourists/visitors coming to New Zealand whenever they can come. We are welcoming them with open arms.
That's lovely. So Nathan is a local from Taupo, so here you go.
Yes, we will welcome them with open arms too. We can't wait for the borders to be open and people can start visiting New Zealand again. We have Sharon Alex saying, as I have completed my EOI application during December 2021, I still have not got a response. I think I'm on stage 2 as I'm going to apply for a skilled worker visa PR. So if you haven't got your permanent residency, then that doesn't mean that you apply for stage 2. If you have it, you would have to actually wait until stage 5 when basically you have to have your what's it called, the residency.
Yes. So
permanent
in short, you can, like right now they don't really process those kind of visas right now. That's what Laura is trying to say right here. So don't think that you're going to be step 2. Especially since you're really in the early stage. Like submitting your expression of interest is literally just telling the New Zealand government you are interested in immigrating in New Zealand. You haven't done none of the paperwork yet. After the expression of interest, you have to formally apply for the visa. There is a lot of steps to do, and you're nowhere near yet. Like, I mean, just for us to do all these kind of steps when we immigrated to New Zealand originally many years ago, it took months. It took, I think it was 9 months for Laura and probably about 6 for me. So it is a long process. And
as we keep on saying, for your specific situation, it's always good to double check with Immigration New Zealand, because obviously if you have applied for visas before, they have all that information. They have all that information themselves, and they can always refer to your past applications or your past visas that you've had to New Zealand. So it's always best to make sure that you understand your case exactly by contacting Immigration New Zealand, and they can advise you further on when you can come to New Zealand. We have Hits Fine Furniture, Ashland, saying, I'm coming to visit my boyfriend for the first time in Christchurch in August, pending everything opens. My question is, will I have to go into MIQ or can I self-quarantine with him at his home?
If you are not vaccinated, you have to go to MIQ. However, if you are vaccinated, you'll be able to self-isolate, meaning that you are in the correct step.
Yeah.
What is Pipa saying?
Thank you for your help.
What is Kapur saying?
Saying, hey, this is Kapur here.
What is Fabio saying?
Fabio says, the live stream is buffering a lot. I will come to the Patreon live stream afterwards. Well, hey, there's another perk. You can come to a non-buffering stream because there's a bit less people.
Also, I've reduced the quality of the stream again to try to make it less buffery for everybody. But Fabio, you're the only one to say that it's buffering right now. So it may be actually fine for everybody. It may be just, it's you. It's not me. It's you.
It's not me. It's you.
It's not me. It's you.
Kapur also says, tell me about the border opening. Well, this is what this whole live session is about.
So you may want to rewind a little bit, mate. We just done a couple of recaps already and gave a lot of information. So check that out. We also have some videos on the channel about all that. So what is Clara Jones saying?
Clara says, Kia ora. Oh, we've just lost the live. Sorry, guys, we just lost the live chat box. I will read that question as soon as it comes back.
What is Clara saying?
Clara says, Kia ora, when will we be able to use our NZDT visitor visa again? I would love to visit my family in New Zealand. I am a US citizen. So the NZETA is applied to all those that are from a visa waiver country. And people who are from a visa waiver country, that is applied to step 4, which is the borders opening for New Zealand by July at the latest. So it could open a little bit earlier, but the New Zealand government have announced that step 4 is by the latest opening in July, and that applies to all visa waiver countries, and everyone who is part of a visa waiver country like the US. They also have to apply for the NZETA, which is just an extra bit. There's an extra fee, basically, for those guys to come to New Zealand.
Tell you like it is.
An extra levy, an extra fee. You guys didn't have to go through a full visa process of applying for a visa and paying for it. Therefore,
still want to tax you.
But we still want to take your money. This is not me personally, but the New Zealand government still want to take your money, and that's what the NZETA is for. So yes, you will still have to apply for that again when you are coming to New Zealand, but just to confirm, that is by July step 4 for visa waiver countries and people that have to apply for the NZETA.
All right, we have Auntie Lou, Fancy Stumpers. Okay, you know, every time we do a live session, I give a nickname of the day award.
Yes.
Auntie Lou's and Auntie Lou's. Well, I lost her. Where is she? Oh yeah, Auntie Lou's Fancy Stampers. You get the award of the best nickname of the day. Okay, hi, this is Angela from Buckeye, Arizona, USA. Excited to be coming in October for 1 month. We have waited a long time. Nice, yes, yeah, honestly, that was a long wait for a lot of people. So we're finally excited to get started on that trip planning. I know you've joined us for a few of the live sessions, so maybe right now we can start planning your trip together. So yeah, good times, happy times. Finally, people can come.
Yes.
And yes, Angela, you are on the visa waiver list. So that means, yes, you are able to come to New Zealand under the step 4 in July 2022. Okay, Ayesha says thank you. And what is Jules saying?
Jules says, it's 3:30 a.m. I gotta go to bed. Good morning and good night, everyone. Have an awesome day, guys.
Jules, is that even worth going to bed at that point? I mean,
it's time to wake up.
Yeah, if it's 3:30 a.m. at that point, just stay awake, do an all-nighter. You know what I mean? Just try to see if you can last 48 hours. It's so late now.
I think an award should also go to the next person here, the Macho Channel. The Macho Channel. Okay, they say, thanks for breaking this down. My partner and I were planning to travel to New Zealand in November this year for our honeymoon. Would we have to self-isolate for 7 days when we have arrived?
At this stage, yes. So obviously, November is quite late down the track, so our gut feeling will be that those requirements will be waived at that point. They will be changing, right? But at this stage, with the current announcement that we have right now, and you know that on this channel, we don't like to kind of like make fake promises or anything like that. We literally just report what's the announcement and what's the news, right? So at this stage, with this announcement, yes, you will have to self-isolate for 7 days. But by November, things are going to be changing, so expect some change to that. Maybe it's going to be reduced, maybe it's going to be waived. We don't know just yet. It is quite late down the track, so good on you for planning quite far ahead. I like that. And so, yeah. But so far right now, according to this isolation, but 7 days stuck in a hotel room with your newlywed wife, it's usually what a honeymoon is for. Moving on to David.
David says, cheers guys, great to hear the working holiday news. Thanks so much for the clarification. I was just rereading the website and getting more confused, so it's great to see.
Yeah, sometimes the more you read the news, the more you get confused about it. So that's why we decided to do this emergency live session and just make sure that we clarify everything for everybody.
We also have Jimmo saying, hey guys, if a new variant comes, do you think New Zealand might go back to shutting the borders and MIQ?
Okay, they have done that before, so it's not out of the possibility, right? However, the Prime Minister was very, very clear on saying, no, those dates are firm, this is what we're going to be doing. If anything, we're going to do it earlier than what we just promised. So that's very encouraging into that not happening. The other side as well is that we have 92% of the eligible population which is vaccinated already. So that's a very high number. So 92% of the eligible population above 18. Let's put all the qualifiers right here. So it's very, very, very encouraging. We are starting to get a really high booster rate. It's very, very encouraging as well. So at what point is that not acceptable anymore to keep on going and keep on putting some restrictions while pretty much all the population is vaccinated? We will have to live with it. Omicron is in a community. Our health system have been prepared. I actually do think, and again, this is when I say I think, and it's not official or anything, but I genuinely think that this announcement is the announcement that will stick. That's my personal gut feeling.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I think I do agree. All the other times, they have kind of changed their mind quite a few times, but this time they did seem like the government seemed really sort of solid on the fact that they know that COVID, before they were talking about borders opening when they still wanted to eradicate COVID from coming into the country at the same time. So their plans were obviously not really working with that, but now they've kind of said they know Omicron is coming into the country but they're basically wanting to open the borders in this way so that they can just sort of manage the outbreak that is inevitably going to happen, and at least everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people in New Zealand are vaccinated and have had the opportunity to be vaccinated. Okay. We have Ian, the bus driver, again saying, how far in advance should I apply for the NZETA? Planning on coming in November. So you can apply for the NZETA anytime. It's valid for 2 years. So as long as you come within 2 years, that's good. But
To be fair, that was not smart to apply in late 2020.
I know. I mean, if you
in early 2020.
yeah,
sorry.
if you applied like in December 2019, then
Yeah.
that would have been a bad
That kind
time.
of sucks, yeah.
But now, it's valid for 2 years. And I think like the very last minute you can apply for it is literally like 72 hours before coming to New Zealand. But I really wouldn't recommend leaving it that late, just in case, the technology lets you down,
Yeah.
or visa or processing of your NZETA lets you down. So I would say maybe a month before. The latest is always like that's a comfortable place to do it. So yeah, in short, any time from now, if you're coming in November, and you should be good.
All right, so we're going to go quickly on the next few comments so then I can do a big recap. So the Sesh guy is saying, hey guys, I have a valid open work visa valid until the February 2023. Just to confirm, can I come to New Zealand after the 12th of April, right? Let's confirm that.
I could just reread. So for 12th of April, offshore temporary visa holders who still meet the visa requirements. So that would apply to you. Yeah, if you're still meeting the visa requirements and your visa's still valid, then that would apply for you for step 3 on the 12th of April.
You may want to confirm with Immigration New Zealand just to make sure that this information is correct, and that's immigration.govt.nz. But yeah, so far, from our understanding, step 3 is the one that applies to you. Omaya Jowo Sober says, I have an offer of place already. What category do I belong? Is everything confirmed? And if you do have a visa already, then you would be belonging probably around step 3, maybe, depending on what your visa is. Otherwise, this will be step 5. You may want to contact Immigration New Zealand at immigration.govt.nz to confirm. What is Clara Jones saying?
Clara says, thank you so much, Laura and Robin. I've been watching your channel since May 2021. Well, thanks for sticking with us, Clara. That's
and
cool.
good name, Clara Jones. I think Clara Jones.
Clara Jones.
Yeah, she should
Sounds
have like
like
a news report, like
yeah.
Hey, here's the fashion watch with Clara Jones. Up to you,
Good.
Clara. Why is fashion watch today? If you don't look good enough, we shoot you.
Okay.
This is Clara Jones. Over and out.
Moving on. We said we would go up through the rest of the comments
Yes.
quickly. Jimmo says, thanks for the clarification, guys. You're welcome, Jimmo. And then we have Nathan saying, thanks for the information from the announcement.
All right, guys. So before we wrap up this live session, first up, we're going to do another live session for our Patreon. So if you want to consider joining us on Patreon, that'd be fun. We have another hour. Every single time we basically go live, we do another hour with our Patreon. It's a ton of fun. So plenty of other perks as well. And Stanislav, stick around, come to the live session so like that we can sort you out and put you in all the groups so you get access to all the contents. Okay, so before we go, I want to do a recap and kind of more of a deep dive in each of the different steps. So I read you exactly what are all the different steps so you know exactly what we were talking about during this live session. But before I start reading all those steps, I would like you guys to know that all those steps include currently at the time of recording this video or at the time of this live video right here, it includes an extra 7 days of self-isolation.
Or 10.
Or 10 if you step 1, but I'll cover that right now. But yeah, none of those steps waive the self-isolation. It's still applying. Okay, so step 1 is from 11:59 p.m. on the 27th of February 2022. The following fully vaccinated people can enter New Zealand from Australia and self-isolate upon arrival. New Zealand citizens and residents, other eligible travelers under the current border settings. Unvaccinated travelers and those who do not meet the vaccination requirements who are eligible to enter New Zealand will continue to enter managed isolation and quarantine, which is MIQ. And step 2 is from 11:59 p.m. on the 13th of March 2022. The following fully vaccinated people can enter New Zealand from anywhere in the world and self-isolate upon arrival. That's New Zealand citizens and residents from all around the world. Other eligible travelers under the current border settings. Skilled workers earning at least 1.5 times the median wage. The current median wage at the time of recording this video is $27 an hour. Travelers on a working holiday scheme and partners and dependent children of New Zealand citizens and residents provided they meet the usual visa and vaccination requirements. A family group does not need to travel to New Zealand together. Unvaccinated travelers and those who do not meet New Zealand vaccination requirements who are eligible to enter New Zealand will continue to enter MIQ. Step 3. from 11:59 on the 11:59 p.m. On the 12th of April 2022. The following fully vaccinated people can enter New Zealand from anywhere in the world and self-isolate upon arrival. Current offshore temporary visa holder with a valid visa who can still meet their visa requirements, and up to 5,000 international students for semester 2. Step 4 is in July 2022. The following fully vaccinated people can enter New Zealand and self-isolate upon arrival. All travelers from Australia, all visitors from countries who do not need a visa, the visa waiver country schemes, so that Laura read a little bit earlier on. Travelers arriving under the accredited employer work visa categories. And finally, the step 5 in October 2022, all visa categories that will reopen in October 2022, including visitors and student visas. So here you go, that is the full announcement right here. We also did cover the visa waiver country scheme list. If you want to know that, rewind, it was a little bit earlier on during this video. And we also covered what happened if you're not vaccinated. In short, you still have to go and pay for MIQ. All right, do we have any last comments or last questions before we wrap this one up and move on to the Patreon live session?
We just have Jules saying, night guys, stay safe. You too, Jules. And we have Anthony saying, stay safe, but I'm here till the end.
Should we do the visa waiver country list maybe?
We can just do it one more time.
Okay, let's do the visa waiver country list just so you guys have it. We always want to make sure that you get all the correct information here.
All right, so this is the list of the visa waiver countries, which applies to step 5, 4, which
Step 4,
applies to
July 2022.
By July 2022. So those visa waiver countries are Andorra, Argentina, Austria, Bahrain, Belgium, Brazil, Brunei, Bulgaria, Canada, Chile, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Kuwait, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, and Luxembourg, Macau, Malaysia, Malta, Mauritius, Mexico, Monaco, the Netherlands, Norway, Oman, Poland, Portugal, Qatar, Romania, San Marino, Saudi Arabia, Seychelles, Singapore, Slovak Republic, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, United States of America, Uruguay, and Vatican City.
Here you go. Again, thank you so much to all of you guys for watching this video. Thank you so much for the 37 of you guys that hit the like button. You guys are absolute rock star. And thank you to all of our Patreon for making this possible. So yeah, check the link below if you want to get yourself some perks on Patreon. We see you in the next live session, which is literally coming up on Sunday at 8 a.m. Every single Sunday, 8 a.m. New Zealand. You can find us right here on YouTube, answering all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. Make it a habit to join us. Bye-bye.
See you next time.
Oh yeah, we had the poll. Good job, Tamo. Whoops.
Oh.
Sorry. Bye-bye, don't stay here. We did a poll. So we ask you guys to vote. I mean, not to vote, but to tell us which steps you are in when contacting us. And 41% of you guys were in step 1 or 2. 21% of you guys were in step 3. 18% of you guys were in step 4. And 20% of you guys were in step 5. Thank you so much for all of the votes today.
62 votes.
Yeah, 62 votes was a lot. Yeah. Thank you very much for the reminder, Tamo. You're rock. Okay, this time we finally gone. Bye-bye.
See you next time, guys.
Ooh, 40 likes. You guys are awesome.